So let's keep going, and now we're going to do it for confidence intervals when we don't know the population standard deviation. So when we don't know the population standard deviation, we have to use something called a student t-distribution. So if you draw a simple random sample of size n from a population that is approximately a normal distribution with a population mean and an unknown population standard deviation, you calculate something called the t-score. It's kind of similar to a z-score, but we don't have the population standard deviation. So it's the sample mean minus the population mean divided by the sample standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. Please don't worry about ever doing this by hand. There's a table you can use if you need it. So degrees of freedom and notation. So we call the number n-1 the degrees of freedom. If your sample size is 30, your degrees of freedom is 29. And the notation for this is t with a little tilde of a lowercase t degrees of freedom. For a sample size of 30, it's t with the tilde sign, lowercase t, 29. So if the population standard deviation is not known, the error bound for the population mean is error bound mean equals t alpha divided by 2 over the population standard deviation divided by the square root of n. So the t alpha divided by 2 will come from the student t table, and I will give it to you if you need it. You shouldn't have to, since the calculator website does the same thing for you that it did before. So the format is sample mean minus EBM and sample mean plus EBM. Here's the table, but again, I don't want you to have to use it because it gets kind of tricky on which one you're going to look for. I just wanted you to know that there is a table for student t-distributions. So let's do an example.